Seeing as my video is doing so well right now with my time is valuable, nothing's free type stuff on the diagnostic fee because some people think diagnostic fees are ripoffs. Somebody left an interesting comment that deserves a little bit more thought put into it and explanation. If you didn't fix my car or if you didn't diagnose my car, I shouldn't have to pay anything. Really? I agree and I don't agree. If you came to me and you said there's something obviously wrong with the car, and I'm dealing with it right now, it's currently going on, it's currently happening, I can feel something's not right. And we know it's not right. Something's obviously not right. And I can't figure out what that obvious thing is, that very apparent thing is, that check engine light is there, or that leak is there, or something's going on is. I agree, you shouldn't have to pay for that. That's not a diagnostic fee that the customer should have to pay because something's blatantly there. It's there. It's obvious. But if you come to me and you say, my transmission's got a little bit of a hiccup between third and fourth gear whenever it's shifting, and it just doesn't feel right sometimes. Well, ma'am, is it going on now? Well, no, and I didn't experience it today. Well, if you didn't experience it today, I'm going to have my technician drive it and try to reduplicate this problem. Is it when it's hot? Is it when it's cold? Is it first thing in the morning? Can you lay out the scenario? Yeah, it's in the morning time, right after I start the vehicle up and I go to leave for work, and it's just getting up to operating temperature, and then all of a sudden this just happens a few times and then it goes away. Okay, so I'll have my technician drive the vehicle first thing in the morning. Can you leave it? Well, no, I can't leave it right now. Well, how can I duplicate the problem right now if you're saying that this is typically the only time it happens? Oh, so I see what you're saying. So maybe I'll just drop it off in the morning and then I'll have somebody take me to work. What do you think the technician could just drive it right now? Well, if he goes and drives it right now and tries to duplicate the problem, then you're going to be charged a fee, especially if you know that it may not happen or it's not currently going on. Well, why? Well, because you're taking my technician's time from a job that he's probably building a trans or trying to figure out another problem right now. You're taking him off of that job, and we got to put him on your car because you're here as a waiter, and he's got to go try to duplicate the problem. Okay, I guess that's fine. They go drive the car. Technician comes back and says, I can't feel anything that's abnormal right now. I'm not seeing anything in the data logger while I'm driving. There's no torque converter shutter. There's no line pressure issue. There's no nothing flagging that's abnormal right now. Maybe the customer can go drive with me and they can drive and I can monitor the computer and see the PID data and see what's going on, see if I can see something abnormal. Another 20 minutes goes by and they come back to the dealership, can't find anything abnormal. That'll be $150, ma'am. It's an hour of my technician's time. But, well, I'm going to come back in the morning. Okay, so what do we do? Are we keeping your vehicle now because you didn't pay? Or are you going to pay now and then come back in the morning and then we'll open a separate ticket? I guess I'm going to have to pay now. Pay the fee now. You just took his time. It's only right. There was something obviously not going on at the time, and you acknowledged the fact that it wasn't currently going on, but yet you still wanted his time anyway. You definitely have to pay for that. That's something that you were made aware of up front. That's a diagnostic fee that you should have to pay. The first scenario, you shouldn't. The second scenario, you should. Well, the person comes back in the morning, comes to the dealership. By the time they made it to the dealership, the vehicle was already warmed up enough to where it's not going on anymore. Well, is it currently happening right now? Well, no, it's not happening right now. Well, ma'am, if it's not happening right now and the vehicle's already warmed up and it already did it this morning when you woke up and drove the car and it's here, we're going to be in another situation just like we were last night where I'm going to charge you again and the guy's not going to be able to find the problem. You're going to have to leave the vehicle here with us so we can try to do the same thing that you do first thing in the morning, cold. Man, I'm so mad. Like, why do all these places do that? That's how it works. And it's going to be another fee if we can't find anything wrong. Well, then the customer comes back a few days later. All of a sudden, first thing in the morning, technician goes out to drive the vehicle. He's driving as the vehicle's warming up as he's driving. Third, fourth shift, bam! Shifts hard. Okay, I've got an issue here. I've got a third, fourth gear issue here, and I noticed that the transmission revved up kind of really high right before that shift. Bam, shift. The transmission guy says, so the snap ring in the forward drum has come dislodged from the casing, and it's just sitting in there, and the piston has to open up so far inside that transmission to shift extremely hard in order to take up that space, in order to apply enough pressure for that shift to happen. I'm going to have to pull apart the transmission and actually look and see what's going on inside this transmission to figure out the problem. But there's a problem there, and it seems like something has come loose inside the transmission. Pull the transmission apart. As you're pulling the stack and everything out of it, all of a sudden, yep, snap ring has snapped. It's not holding the drum down inside, or it's not holding the assembly inside anymore, and the piston's having to travel out really far in order for it to apply properly, whatever it may be. I've identified the problem. Guess what? Now your diagnostic fee is waived, but you're probably going to be into this transmission for about 6 or 7 hours worth of labor, if not more. We're not going to charge you the diagnostic fee. You've already paid it once. And if you would have let us do this from the beginning, you wouldn't have had to pay the diagnostic fee to begin with. The reason I say this is there are some diagnostic fees that you will pay. And there are some inconveniences you're going to have to go through as the customer. Sometimes things aren't easily duplicated. And we get customers that come in all the time that if I just look at the vehicle for 15 minutes or so and I can't find something that they were just experiencing or they have experienced intermittently, we don't charge the customers for that. We just say, look, at this time it'd be better for you to come back with the vehicle actually doing it, or give us the vehicle so we can duplicate under your same stipulation that you have an issue. Then we're on the same page. But if you bring a vehicle to me knowing darn well that it's a very open intermittent issue that's not going to happen all the time, and we explain to you that there could be a charge if it's not going on currently, or if you don't give us that vehicle in the situation that you normally experience it in, you're asking for that. You've already been told that that's a fee that you're going to have to pay. So Nick, to your comment where you said, I don't think that I should have to pay a diagnostic fee if the problem's not diagnosed. There are some situations where you're wrong there. If it's currently happening, or there is currently an obvious issue and the technician doesn't have to... I've been on a vehicle for 4 days off and on, driving the customer's vehicle back and home, going and running my grocery errands and everything else, because the customer knew that it was a very hard problem to find. And they were a very understanding customer, and they had a spare vehicle, and they said, look, man, just take it, drive it. Eventually it's going to happen. I know these things are hard to come by whenever they're intermittent like this, but eventually you're going to experience that. I drove the customer's vehicle for 4 days. He let me take it for an entire weekend, and the first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday. Guess what? Eventually, it happened. The trunk wouldn't open. It malfunctioned. I'm hitting it with the key fob. It'll recognize it. The lights and everything will flash, but the trunk won't open on the vehicle. I get to digging into the vehicle, tearing everything apart, looking at all the wires and stuff like that. There's a partially broken wire that had worked its way. One of the tangs had broke off, fell out of back into the connector a little bit, and it wasn't making contact with the male side that goes into the trunk gate module. I have a video on that. I had seen this customer's car multiple times, and they knew it wasn't just an easy fix. They were super understanding because it happened very sporadically, and eventually they were so patient with us that I ended up finding the problem. And no, I did not charge them a diagnostic fee every time I had to look at it, because the customer never inconvenienced me into taking my time away from something and saying, hey, I need this fixed. They said, work on it on your own time. We understand that these things are complicated. If you need to drive it home, if you need to drive it for the weekend, whatever you need to do to eventually figure out this problem, even if I need to come pick it up, let you free up some of your workload and then bring it back when you get a little bit more time, I'm more than willing to work with you guys, because you guys are doing me right. We had this vehicle like 7 times before I was able to figure out the problem. Nobody around could figure out the problem, but eventually I figured out the problem. There's some situations where you will get charged a fee. When it's laid out in front of you, if this problem is not currently going on right now and you're not going to work within our guidelines of actually helping us out duplicate this problem, you're going to get charged a fee. But if you, with the understanding of this video and the sincerity of me wanting to help you, understand that I need it in the condition to make it happen or I need it left with me in a condition that I can duplicate, that you typically experience this in these conditions, I need to be able to do the same thing. So I think you get the point by now. Just because you bring it in and somebody can't find the problem doesn't mean you're walking away without paying for something. I appreciate you guys. Be blessed. I do care about you, but I just want to lay these scenarios out to explain the business a little bit better. Thank you.